Different things at different times help to make the individual that is me, just as different things at different times help to make you, just as they went into making your brothers and sisters who are very different from you. Do I contradict myself? Very well, then I contradict myself, said Walt Whitman. And so, dear reader, forgive the absence of chronology. Each chapter of this memoir is a remembrance of times past, an attempt to resurrect a person or a period or an episode, a reflection on the unpredictability of life. Some paths lead nowhere, others lead to a spring of pure water. Take any path and hope for the best. At least it will lead you out of the shadows. Ruskin Bond, 25th April, 2018. Finding my own space. Dormitory life seems to suit some people, but I've always wanted my own space, my own private room, even if it's a small one. Coming home from boarding school, when I was 10, I found myself sharing the same bedroom as my sister, small brother, and even smaller stepbrother. And after a few days of sulking, I demanded and got a room of my own, albeit a tiny one, just an enclosed corner of the veranda. It had a bed, a small table, and a cane mora, or stool, and that was enough for me. I had flung my clothes into a cupboard in the children's room, and my school trunk was free to accommodate books, comics, a stamp album, an album of cress, another set of postcards sent to me by my father, now gone, a cricket ball, a cup I'd won in an obstacle race, the only kind of race in which I excelled, a pocket knife, a walnut wood stick picked up in Simla, and a model airplane. If I remember well, it was a model of a Spitfire, a fighter plane, the plane that had defended London during the German Blitz. It had been given to my father, then serving in the RAF. He had died earlier that year in Calcutta, now Kolkata, and I was now with my mother and stepfather. That box of earthly treasures was kept under my bed, and no one was allowed to touch it. But we were in a rented bungalow for the first 2 months. My stepfather wasn't a very good businessman. His car showroom had little to show, and his workshop did not attract many customers. He was fond of shikar and spent more time in the surrounding jungles, usually accompanied by his workers and mechanics, than in his workshop. The business floundered, the house rent wasn't paid, and one day all our furniture and belongings were piled into a truck and taken to my grandmother's house, where we were given sanctuary for a couple of months. We were rather cramped there, so no room of my own. But the garden and the little orchard behind the house gave me the space I needed. Since no one ventured into the neglected orchard, it had been allowed to run wild after my grandfather's death the year after I was born. The front garden was well maintained, even when Granny was away, and she was away in Ranchi when we took refuge in her home. The gardener, Duki, had been with her for many years, and he could always be found, usually on his haunches, weeding the flower beds, planting or transplanting a variety of garden flowers, watering them, training the sweet peas to climb their trellises, pruning the hedges. I liked following him around, helping a little, but getting in the way most of the time. I loved watering the flowers. Nothing gave me greater pleasure than to fill that watering can and walk down the little pathways between the flower beds, spraying the flowers, the leaves, the earth with jets of sparkling water. I learned the names of all the flowers, some from my mother and some from Duki. And as I watered them, I would address them by name. Petunias, good morning. Snapdragons, how are you today? Zinnias, you look thirsty. Yellow Rose, you look lovely today.